Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com, and in this video we are doing part 3 of how to crush the football edition of the Blazing Canon over on Betvictor.com. I'm sure you've all seen parts 1 and 2 now, so I don't need to explain it in depth, but I will just quickly say super soft games, fast forward variant like Zoom, 30% rake back, deposit bonus that clears at 20%, top 777 rake race with us. And the Blazing Canon, you win €1, €10 or €100 or nothing every time you win 20 post-flop hands. So if you don't understand it, just click the link below. You can view the first part or second part, or just check the Betvictor site for the rules. But for those who have bored with the how it works system, I'm just going to crack on and play some poker. So off we go, under the gun. Ace 10 suited is going to be an open. And for any of you who are still a bit like, oh, what is this Canon? You'll see it in 5 hands time, 5 post-flop hands time that I win. We've got some tags on people. Grinder 6 is a PokerVIP staked player. Ace-Jack suited here. This guy looks like a weak player just from his stack size. Generally, if you don't have 100 big blinds plus, he's probably going to be a recreational guy. You know, regs want to always have the max amount of money on the table they possibly can, because we want to cover everybody. We want to play bigger pots and we want to, get all of our edge. So if I see someone like this who's a monster kill and, seems a bit newbie, then I'm going to go ahead and isolate them with a 3-bet with a hand that's probably ahead of their range. Jack 8 suited, pretty great run out here. Just going to keep betting with my full house. And Ace Jack suited, we're going to go ahead and make a C-bet, just over half pot. As you can see there, we won that hand post-flop, so now we're at 16 out of 20. Ace Jack, I'm just going to go ahead and bet, commit myself. If he jams, I'll go ahead and call. But I'm going to get him to fold a lot of hands, and if not, then I've got 2 overs and a flush draw. He actually just floated me with King 7, hit a pair, and got it in. But one thing I will say is, point proven there. Point absolutely proven. Just a weak player, terrible play by him. He's going to be crushed there a lot. But even against that King 7, we had plenty of equity. We needed any Ace, Jack, or Spade. But sadly, we missed that one. Four, 5 suited under the gun, we're going to fold. It's not the start we wanted, losing 180 big blind pot there, whatever it was. But I think we played the hand pretty well. Don't want to take a free card, because, he can just have a hand like, King Queen, which has equity versus us. He can have a hand like 4s, 5s, 6s, which go ahead and fold to that bet. Or he can actually just call us with worse, That guy maybe just picked up some sort of draw himself, and, we had him absolutely dominated with it. 6-4 suited anyway, I defend. It's a nice playable hand post-flop. 6-7 suited I opened here. Probably just going to check give up against this guy's stack size. Hopefully just basically improve or be able to bluff a turn or a river. I think once he's checked twice, we're just going to go ahead and bet now. We're just never going to win with 7 high at Showdown, and he hasn't shown any strength at all. I'm going to go ahead and bet here, thinking that he could definitely fold 9. Or we could even have a hand like King Queen with a King of Diamonds. I can get him to fold. Hedger calls me with King 9, which is fine. I think once he calls the turn, he should call a river. But I think lots of players will also fold there in that spot. So far, 0 out of 2 bluffs worked. But both had definite positives. Jack's here, players opened, have been 3-bet. Like I say, he's a staked player. I know he's quite tight. So I'm just going to go ahead and call here and play Jack's post-flop. Good flop for us. And we have an overpair. But his Mega could have a big hand, and Grinder can definitely have a large hand. I don't expect to have like 9s. So I expect to have Queens, Kings, Aces, Ace, King, Ace, Queen suited, those type of hands. I expect him to bet his overpairs that beat mine, and I expect him to check his Ace, Queens, and Kings. His bet sizing here is really interesting, almost as if he's milking me, but I do have to call for this size. I'll probably just fold the turn if he continues to bet. He could have just flopped a set there, he could have an overpair. One thing I will say is he should probably bet larger in general, because he doesn't want to miss out on value. He bet 110, but I would have called 2. So, you definitely have to be aware of that. 5-2, we're going to go ahead and call a 3-bet. It's pretty close. I think Grinder 6 has a pretty big hand here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my jacks. I just know him. I know he's a good player. I know he's very tight. He might have been controlling there with Ace 10, but I just don't expect him to 3-bet those hands in that spot. So I'm going to make a very, very tight fold. But that's just, dynamics, and that's just knowing a player. King 9, we get 3-bet. Jack Queen off. I think we can just go ahead and call. I definitely mix it up between calling and 3-betting with Jack Queen. We obviously block a lot of big hands with it. Ace 10, we go ahead and min raise the button. Ace Jack here, I prefer to 3-bet rather than call out a position. I think big blind we can kind of peel. Small blind we can definitely add it into a 3-bet range. And we take it down. Interesting start to the video. Tough spot there with jacks. 2 bluffs not worked in our favour. But we are still crushing these games over the video series. This is part 3, like I say. All parts are around 30 minutes long. Part 4 will follow shortly. 10NL, 5 cent, 10 cent, real money. Get signed up. As I explained at the beginning of the video, you make so much money just from playing in these games. The Blazing Canon promo, the rake back, the deposit bonus, and everything else like that. I'm going to go ahead and bet here because I have 60% of a straight flush, and we can go ahead and represent that ace high flop. Lots of good turn cards for us, of course. And, you know, if he's got a hand like 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, he's not exactly going to be loving, you know, his spot there. We're going to get those big hands to fold, which obviously dominate our hand. 3s, I'm just going to call in position. Note that he has 4x it pre-flop. We flop the quads, baby. Flopping quads on a king 3-3. I mean, it's just a great spot. And he's pot it, so we're going to have a little think here. Okay, I call. We're just going to basically call, flop, call turn, and get it in on river. Nice that he's still potting. Really not too sure why he's potting or what hands he does pot with. But yeah, there's kind of no sense in raising, just in case he's ever bluffing. So we're basically just going to, you know, dwell up a little bit, call, and, you know, call the river. Be pretty sick now if he's got a king. Be sick if he's got aces and we lose action though. But no, we're going to call, and he shows pocket 4s. Yeah, the pot jam line is pretty bluffy because it makes no sense to be a strong hand. He decides to just jam into me still, even though, you know, I've called down pot on the flop, pot on the turn, on a king 3-3 jack. Pretty bad timing by him there. I don't think any of the hands I'm calling pot with on flop and turn are going to fold the river. But one huge reason that those hands keep happening in these videos is the fact that everyone's trying to get the Blazing Canon. Yeah, everyone's trying to win that €100 bonus. So, you know, they're trying, you know, so desperately post-flop to win hands. So we need to keep that in mind, but we don't need to adopt that strategy. I'm going to go for a 4-bet here with the King-Queen. We block, obviously, a lot of strong hands, and it's just a good hand to 4-bet with, basically, when we're multi-way. Looks very strong, and we get to take it down pretty quickly there. So yeah, we need to bear in mind that people are trying to win those post-flop hands a little bit too eagerly, but we should just continue to play our game when we're, like, you know, playing post-flop. 3-bet in the kings, big blind versus cutoff. It's a position where we don't get a huge amount of respect, essentially. But we get a fold, sadly. But all good. We're winning money, I think, now. After we're probably break even now. Close to that. After our terrible start. We wake up with kings again in mid position. And a player limp, so we're going to go ahead and isolate. 5-8 suited, I'm going to peel. Again, we're assuming this guy is not a strong player due to his stack size. We flop a flush draw, which is nice. Kings here, we can check or bet. I think when I have not been limp raised and where he is not opened, I can just go ahead and bet for value there. We turn the flush. I think I'm going to start to lead here. I mix it up between leading and check calling and check raising. Essentially, when I think people are going to shut down, then I will go ahead and do that. Oh, we're going to shoot the cannon. Let's hope this one goes in. I think our last one missed. Let's go. No, we missed that one, sadly. We've bricked the last two. That sucks. There is no skill to it, I believe. I think it's all luck and, like, you know, sort of like an RNG on it. But that is the cannon. There's 20 minutes left of the video, so you never know, we might get another one in. I'm sure we'll get at least one more in for part 4. 9-10 I defend. I'm definitely calling this flop. He's going to be betting a lot of flush draws, jack queens, 10 jack, queen 10s, and so on. Turn, not great for us, but it does improve us to a straight draw. He checks pretty quickly. I'm not too sure we need to turn our hand into a bluff here, so I'm just going to check and probably fold. He actually snap check back jacks there. I mean, jacks there is a very obvious value bet for him. You know, we are going to definitely check call him with worse hands than a jack, and we are probably going to lead with the hands that beat him, so he definitely missed a value bet there in a vacuum. So open here, call. We're in the small blind, so we'll be going for a squeeze here. We're going to go around 4.5, 5x. You know, that's a pretty good size versus 2. Versus 2. We take it down. Ain't nothing wrong with winning pots. I can sit here and play this all day. I really could. It is so much fun, so much easy money. Just so great. Just loads of hands, and you know, like with our top $77,770 rake race, you know, you're just printing. You're just, you know, getting all the rake back, all the returns, and all the promos. You just go ahead and defend here with the 7-9. 3-bet 7-10 suited. I think it's okay to do that. Cut off versus mid position. Now and then. Definitely beats calling with this hand. And it plays well. I like this blaze it up achievement we've got. And we wake up with queens under there. Once this guy checks, I'm just going to bet half pot once and be done with the hand. You know, he could definitely be check calling with ace high. He could just be taking a pot control line with like king 8 or something. So I'm just kind of done there. He did actually have the nut flush. I feel that's one of the spots a lot of people get tied up in. But for one and done, just betting once and then giving up, then that is definitely the spot to do it. But often you just go check fold that flop with like queen high or something. So absolutely fine to take the line and to take the understanding that, you know, if we get called, then we're done. I'm going to defend here, king 10, pretty bad flop, going to be a fold on the flop. King 10 here is going to be a bet. Raise, sorry. Oh, just min raise all positions and 3x. 3x the rest. I'm going to fold to a 3-bet there. King 10, obviously, as has been printed into our minds for so long, is you don't want to be playing 3-bet pots with. King Jack suit here, I'm going to go ahead and isolate this player because I think he's pretty weak. I'm going to go ahead and call these 5s. Flop is set. We can definitely lead on this flop. And I'm just going to go ahead and start raising. Like, I'm not too sure. Actually, I'm going to call just hope lol jams and then sort of this Wyatt rejams. King Jack, I'm just going to half pot c-bet my gut shot and backdoor flush draw. I think I'm just going to call here again and basically hope lol comes along or raises or does something silly like that. I'm going to barrel this ace because it's a good card for us and a bad one for him. River comes a jack, so basically the situation is because we were trying to get this lol to jam, so basically Wyatt, you know, overcalls and then we can build a pot and it fails. Now we find ourselves in this spot where the pot's not that big. You know, there's 340 in there. You know, we can't really raise jam for all his amount. So we just need to go for value here. We just need to pick a sizing. I think just over 3x is about right. And just hope he snaps us off, which he did. But basically jamming there, I just don't think we get enough calls. So we just need to make it a size where we think we will get a call. And I can get up his hand there, I'm sure. He had 7-9, so he had 3 of a kind 7s, so pretty unlucky for him. But I didn't expect him to have a hand like that. From, you know, because of why he raised, I expect like 8s, 9s, 10s, maybe a stronger pocket pair. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this and just hope I get it in versus Mio Wayamam. I'm going to make it so large that like, we kind of commit him to jamming, so then we get it heads up because Dio will then fold once Mio has jammed. But everyone just folds, that's okay. Definitely not a bad scenario when you got pocket 9s 3-way and there's money in the middle. And you know, when we were playing, like, you know, we folded the jacks, we ran that bluff. You know, now you can see the stacks. We've done anything, like, nothing really special, nothing crazy. And, you know, the stacks do just really start to build up. It is definitely the easiest money online right now. I'm pretty confident in saying that. I just wish this promo would never end. Ends July 10th. When's June 10th to July 10th. C-bet my ace high. I think that's definitely fine. River might be a call if he bets. And once he checks, I don't really love it, but you know, I was essentially hoping he had a hand like 8, 9, 6, 8, Jack Queen, something like that. You can definitely float me there. I'm surprised he didn't bet that river. I've had a lot of people just miss so many like bluffs and value bets. Like, you know, if you cannot win and somebody's shown no strength at all, you should probably think about just betting, because it's going to be a pretty easy takedown. Even though I said I might call here, it's still better to bet when you can't win and somebody has shown that they have nothing than to just check and auto lose a pot. Yeah, I mean, run the maths on that, guys. You know, all the stats geeks like, but can you explain this? It's a common sense one more than a, you know, here's some numbers to prove it. Some standard opens here, Queen 10 in the cutoff. Just taking money down. Just taking it down. Lots of fast fold. I love the fast fold. It's just so glorious. You know, rather than having to play like 20 tables, you can play 2, concentrate. Gonna try a lead here with my flush draw. I mean, it's probably a terrible call to make with ace-5 there. He actually raises, so I'm just going to go ahead and call. We turn a flush, and I'm going to bet lead again. Maybe makes my hand look a bit face up, but I don't want him to check back. One issue is maybe he has Queen X of hearts or a nut flush, and that's why he was raising the flop. But generally when people raise the flop, they're going to have sets and top pairs, and a lot of his top pairs can have hearts with it, so that's why I wanted to lead twice there. Because generally it goes check, check, I bet river, he folds or he calls, you know, we miss out some value. So even though you might think it makes my hand look face up, we can still get calls off hands which, even if they know I have a flush, will continue to call because they have equity, such as 2 pair, a set, or a pair and a nut, or, you know, nutted flush draw. Hope that makes sense. Leave comments and reviews as always, guys and girls. Shout out to any YouTubers watching over on the YouTube channel. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, make sure you go check out our site, PokerVIP.com. You know, obviously on YouTube you're getting all the free coaching videos, but what you're not getting is the 700 free articles, the Poker School, the Poker Forum, and all those other good bits. Ace King, just going to go ahead and bet here, and if this guy jams, I'm just going to call and assume he's going to have some draws and nothings, and I'll have equity basically. But I'm just never going to be like folding this hand on this run out. You know, if he min-raised that ship, if he raised that ship, you know, the money would just be going in on that flop if he decided to wager any more dollars. Jack 7. I'm going to go ahead and bet here. I'm going to go ahead and raise, get this in versus this guy with 10 big blinds. Get a check call this turn, because essentially the reason I was betting is I believed he could have hands like 7, 8, Queen 10, King Queen, which a couple of those beat me. I guess if I know he's got Queen 10, I can continue to bet. But River's a pretty easy value bet. Maybe I could bet that turn. But, you know, you can definitely have some jacks which beat me as well as just hands which get there on the turn. So there's a pot control line. I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet Jack Queen versus Under the Gun. We're deep. I block Queens and Jacks and Ace Jack and Ace Queen. It's a good hand to do it with, basically. I do expect him to call quite frequently because we are deep, but that is fine. Here we flop a straight draw, so I'm just going to go ahead and bet accordingly. You can definitely raise me on flops like this with sets, but he opts to fold there. Being limped raised here by Morton, just going to go ahead and chuck the ego in the bin and give him the benefit of the doubt that he probably has a strong hand there, and I don't want to get, you know, into this deep mess with Jack Queen off. You know, my ISOs work so often that I don't need to, you know, really get involved in spots like that where we're unsure. He's now gone ahead and 5x it, so I've got to assume this guy is a fun player. So I'm just going to peel with my 7s. Interesting flop as we flop a gut shot. But we do have a player behind us. He's potted, you know. Was this the same guy who had the 4s? I wish I remembered the name. I'm going to call because, well, we were assuming this pot means nothing. We've been jammed on here. And a call there. Wish we could watch it. We can pull up the replay, though. And find out what that hand was, I believe. You think? Maybe not. That's a shame. Sorry, I'm just off screen here. Yeah, sadly I can't see what the run out and the showdown was on that hand. Hey ho. I didn't think I would be able to. 8-4, we're just going to check fold. Really no sense in doing anything else there. Hanging around with the ace-10, because it is definitely a button open. Also a good spot to go ahead and 3-bet if the cutoff opens. And also a great spot to go ahead and isolate. Ace-8 here, we're going to fold. I don't 3-bet ace-rag probably often enough in the blinds. Maybe a leak, that I need to, get checked out. Probably gut shot here to the nuts on the right-hand table, 3-way. We get led into, which is interesting. We're definitely going to go ahead and call here. We're really not too sure what a leading range is there. I think we can go ahead for a squeeze here with our king-queen. Interesting check there by Mosenator, and an interesting check by Dejanbu. I don't know if Mosenator is doing this as a trap, or if he is just like, oh no, I've got queen 10, now I fold kind of thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and bluff, and assume people are going to have some kings, which they don't want to go ahead and call with. He called me pretty quick, so I'm quite worried. He might have had like ace-king. Might have had like ace-king. I don't know if he folds that. It's a very interesting spot, because I can actually have the best hand here sometimes. Don't know if he folds ace-king, so I guess I give up. Yeah, check king-queen. Made sense. I don't think I get him to fold it, basically. And I think I can win sometimes versus, like, queen 10. Or maybe he had ace-10 as well. Something like that. Interesting spot. Don't really like his lead there. He's just going to create a big pot for himself there. Although he did induce a bluff, so don't hate the player, hate the game. Doesn't look like we will shoot another cannon off, but that's fine. We will definitely get that shot off in part 4. I love shooting the cannon. Hopefully we'll get a €100 one. Has been done. A couple of guys on the forum have posted screenshots up. I've had €10 a few times, but in the previous cannons, probably like the Easter one or the last time I made a video series for it, I definitely had lots of €1 and had a couple of misses. The misses really hurt because you look so forward to like hitting that 20th rate, post-flop hand and getting to shoot it off, and then it all just fails. Queen 7 2 going to overcall here, getting a good price with a good hand. Lots of boring folding. Just done with this Queen 7 hand. Betting the ace-king suited. Hoping for some action off this Moisenator. He's having a dwell. 7-8 on the other table, hanging around to open the button. Okay, so isolation, we want to do it lots, but not versus someone who's only got 10 big blinds, because we're just going to go ahead and commit ourselves with that 8 high, basically. Be interesting if Moise leads here. Well, we'll definitely peel because of all the back doors and the overs, but it would be interesting if he is just a constant leader. He actually just goes and check folds, which is good when you just have ace high. I love the felt. I think the look of the table, the the green background, it's all very fresh, and I think there's this massive thing with poker sites which they constantly forget is somebody's going to be staring at the screen for like, even if it's 1 hour, but a lot of people are going to be spending staring at the screen for like 15 hours a day. You've got to make it nice to look at. You cannot create something where it's a mess, where it's havoc, where it's unorganized, where it's whatever. It's got to be like appealing, and I think this felt and this design definitely does that. I love folding. But again, no spots have been missed there. Going to go ahead and overcall here with the 8-9. And this will be a check fold. Queen 6 suited, we're going to go ahead and peel. We flop top pair, backdoor draws galore. It's just going to be a check call though, no sense in raising. It's not really value, it's not a bluff, it's not really semi-bluffing, it's just, you know, with this hand. The reason I'm going to check this turn is I want to induce bluffs. I want him to represent that king. You know, I don't want to bet him for him to just fold all of his air. I want to allow him to go ahead and bluff into me. And also by doing so, the pot will be controlled. We have all this equity, it's all gravy, blah blah. Pretty bad river card for us there, because he can definitely have some 5s in his range, but he does actually go ahead and muck really quick there. And can we see what hand he had? He had 7-9, so plan worked perfectly there. And I feel that's a spot people just go ahead and auto lead. You know, think about it. Think about it. He is going to be delayed c-betting, repping lots of, you know, high cards like that. So, you know, we know how our hand's strong. We know I've got lots of equity. Even if he does have a king, we still can win that pot a lot of the time. Interesting jam there, but I run like this. It's going to be a fold. 10-6 suited versus a min raise, and from the cutoff is going to be a call as well. I think this flop's going to be a check fold. I think I'll lead the river if he checks the turn, but I think on this kind of board he can definitely be pot controlling or just checking, you know, a second pair type thing. River's not ideal, but we're never going to win with this hand, and if he's got a hand like king queen we get him to fold. It just sucks if he has an ace because he probably raises or snaps us off. But if he doesn't, then we probably win the pot. He actually calls with king high there. I would say I don't think he called us with king high like and owned us. I just don't think he thought he's a thinking player. But even lots of bad players make that fold, so pretty interesting spot. I guess he just could see our hand and knew that we were going to be bluffing there. But I would say that call is probably not going to make him that much money. 4s we get 3-bet, we've got a player behind who's deep with us, so we're going to go ahead and call. Essentially just try and flop a set, implied odds, stack 2 players for 300 big blinds, blah blah blah. This board though, pretty terrible. Could be drawing quite dead. Interesting. We turn a set, this guy bets pretty small, we're just going to go ahead and call. We don't love our hand, we don't hate our hand. They can definitely have a hand like kings, ace queen, that they can be value betting. The sizing is delicious. Because, you know, if we are beat, then we're really losing the minimum here. So yeah, it's just going to be a quick call. Knights here, he bets the king turn. Yeah, just go ahead and fold. Interesting that Vincenzo's thinking he should not be raising anything but the nuts, because Benassis can have the nuts, even though his sizing does not indicate a nutted hand. You know, you think he'd bet flop, bet turn, bet river, or bet slightly larger. So Vincenzo could raise like a set here. But I don't expect him to check a set back on the flop. I think he 3-bets 10 jacks and queens pre-flop, so I think he really leaves a hand like 8-9 that he could raise with here. There's a bit of a thin raise. He's thinking deep about it. I think he probably just, you know, bets the 8-9 as well once it's checked to him, because, you know, Benassis is kind of repping a hand like ace queen, kings and aces with this sizing, which he has aces. Yeah, I think it's definitely fine to just call down there. I don't think we're going to be, you know, correctly value raising if a player behind us in a spot where we can be crushed by sets and straights and everything in between. So I think a just call is fine and dandy. Pretty good turn card for us. Thanks for the flop check, bro. Lots of folds again. We're going to sit out, and the next video we'll be back to fire off that cannon. So yeah, that was part 3. Lots of interesting spots. I would say it's been a winning session just by looking at my stack size, even though I did bluff them off and made a pretty tight fold. I think that was a good session. I think we played really well. I think the spots kind of played themselves, but some nice ISOs, some nice value bets, some nice pot controls, and I think mainly just inducing players. Always remember to induce. Sadly, we didn't win anything from the Canon, but we did make money on the tables. We made money from rate back, the race, the deposit bonus, all that great stuff. So get signed up and give it a go. For part 4, hopefully we just crush again. But yeah, please, if any questions below, just timestamp it. either on YouTube or PokerVIP. If you are a YouTuber, come over and check PokerVIP. And yeah, please leave a star rating as well. Obviously, it means a lot to know if you enjoy the video, if you don't enjoy the video, and we can always do something different. So anyway, this was John for PokerVIP.com, and I wish you the very best of luck on the tables. Goodbye.